What Artifactory is, for those who aren't familiar, is it's JFrog's most popular product. And you can think of it basically as a Dropbox, but for coding libraries. So when a software developer is writing code, they'll often take a library or a package from where someone else is writing code. Maybe it's from the public internet, maybe it's written internally in the organization, and they'll download it and use it as part of like their project. Now, one risk of this is if it's being downloaded from the public internet, there might be vulnerabilities. It hasn't been scanned. And I guess another interesting thing that Artifactory helps with is because this is like only available to the organization. If someone made a package that was only available to an enterprise, for example, a Coca-Cola package, for example, that could be published here in Artifactory. So with this NPM package, for example, if I wanted to use it, I could go in here and do set me up. And Artifactory gives me a bunch of kind of instructions and steps to get my coding environment set up to be able to use these packages. Now, a benefit of this with Coder is with the integration, a developer is pre-authenticated into Artifactory, meaning I can create a workspace and I don't have to do anything. And my workspace is secure by default. And I'm downloading things right from Artifactory where they belong with my user. So if my user doesn't have access to certain packages, I couldn't download them and use them in my workspace. The second security product is X-Ray, which actually scans packages and identifies vulnerabilities. Where X-Ray is typically used is in staging and production environments. So a platform team or an SRE or someone will use X-Ray to identify if there are vulnerabilities in their production infrastructure. Where Coder and an X-Ray really play in is Coder helps shift this left to make identifying vulnerabilities actually somewhat of the responsibility of the developer too. It helps you identify these vulnerabilities earlier. So X-Ray has a VS Code extension, which Coder will pre-install. Again, the developer doesn't have to do anything. And the developer can run security scans against their workspace. So when I run a security scan here, the X-Ray extension will actually notice quite a few different issues here. I can hover over it, and it'll show me the latest version is 4.18.2. So if I update to the latest version of this package, I'll do npm install. And again, when I'm doing this npm install, it's actually installing from Artifactory, not the public internet. And I do a rescan. These vulnerabilities will then go away. So that's kind of one way that Coder helps shift left vulnerability detection into the development environment. So that's one way kind of Coder helps integrate with Artifactory. The second is actually letting that platform team identify vulnerabilities as part of the workspace itself. So the workspace itself is running somewhere in a server, and that workspace itself might have vulnerabilities based on the Docker image that it uses. So I think I have an example here. What I'm going to do is switch back to a version that has vulnerabilities. I actually updated it to fix them. So I'm switching back to an older version of my template for this workspace. And we have an integration built in that uses JFrog X-Ray to detect if those vulnerabilities in the workspace. And if I actually click review results here, it will go into X-Ray where I can see it. So I guess the main benefit of this is when you use something like Coder, you're actually kind of you're spinning up more infrastructure, you're spinning up more workspaces, and those have the risks to have vulnerabilities. So because Coder is able to detect them, and again, I guess it helps with these secure by default dev environments. And what I can do here now is I have this new version, I can update it, and when I update, there will be no security vulnerabilities in the workspace. So that's the integration.